Good morning, everybody. It's Tell It Tuesdays, and I have been waiting for this. How are you doing? I hope that everything's going okay. Let me know in the comments section if it's been a good morning or if you slept well. I hope so. We've got some really great questions today that I can't wait to talk to you about. So let's get going and let's get started in them. So the very first one is from Brenda Loves Handbags, and she asks, how do you trade purses? And so Brenda Loves Handbags. She's got her own channel and she put some handbags out there. And I think that she's gotten a little nervous because she's gotten a couple of bites, but the bites seem to be a little fishy, I think, and it's got her a little nervous, and I don't blame you at all. So let's talk about how you trade out your handbags. So I would first say that for myself, I haven't necessarily done anything like that on YouTube because I know there's a lot of scammy going on, and I tend to go with the places that I'm a little more comfortable with and that I tend to be a little more savvy in. Now, that does not mean that as my channel begins to grow, you won't ever find me here doing a blowout of some of the items that I have in stock. Here would be my questions, really. So, how long have you had your YouTube channel? And of the subscribers that you have, those individuals that are giving you some offers for your bags, like, have you known them a long time, or is it just, did they just kind of come out of nowhere, and are they trying to offer you like amounts of, I think like you said, someone wants to buy all of them? That seems kind of fishy for me, and it would make me kind of nervous. Now, Brenda, I gotta say, if I did something on one of my videos and I said, why, look at this lovely purse that I have for sale, and you contacted me, I would go, that's Brenda, of course. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send you an invoice and let's do this. Let me get it to you. But if I didn't know you, let's say that Penelope contacted me, and I don't have Penelope as one of my subscribers, I'm going to be a little more cautious about that. So because it's kind of, you kind of have to be a little more careful, you know, you could try a couple of different ways. So there are some online places that you can go and you can put your items out there. It's almost like an online consignment kind of thing. You know, things like Fashion File or Yugi's Closet, you could go that route. You know, and I have to maybe I'm just really old school, but I do still tend to like eBay. I know I talked about it on a couple of videos before. You know, I'll purchase from eBay, so of course I would feel comfortable selling on eBay, and I can give you a little bit of information about that as well. I would say that with whatever you do, I really recommend PayPal. Does anybody else feel really strongly about PayPal? I feel like it's a really secure thing. And even like with Louis Vuitton, I gotta say that the first time I saw the little PayPal thing down at the bottom, I was like, oh, score, because I think it's one of the best ways that you can pay for a handbag. I like it, and that's kind of what kind of draws me to the website on occasion. So I would say give eBay a try. One thing that I would recommend, be very, very specific in the pictures that you take. Make sure that you get really close-up shots of, you know, like your bag, because people want to inspect that bag to make sure that it's the one for them. So I would say like, for instance, if I were selling my Neverfull, which I'm not sure that will ever happen, but I would want to have a picture that looked something, you know, like that, you know, maybe laying on like a surface, like, so when I do shots, I tend to take, you know, like a clean sheet, and I lay it out like a neutral kind of sheet that doesn't have designs on it, and I lay it out, and I take one of the lights that I have, and I will kind of, you know, make sure that it's bright, make sure they can see the colors, and then I try to do like a shot like that. I'll make sure that you're always able to see the sides. And then there will be a shot that's extremely close of the handles itself on the side, especially how it meets the bag, because people want to know, like, how worn is that leather that's on those bags. I'm also going to do shots of like the corners, because people want to know, like, is the piping still in good shape? Be very careful to get really good, clear, bright shots of the inside. I know when I'm looking for a used bag, it's just not on at all if the inside of the bag is a mess, because I always feel like if the inside of the bag is a mess, you've not been kind to it. And if you haven't been kind to it, you've been putting it on the floor and doing all kinds of nasty stuff with it. So that's my advice to you, to do things for eBay. Take lots and lots and lots of pictures. Be as specific as you can in the description itself. Post it out there. If it doesn't sell the first time, I like to do like buy it nows sometimes. You know, sometimes depending on what the bag is, I'll go ahead and do like an auction kind of thing, but buy it nows are really good. And that's just simply where you say, I want to sell it for X amount. And if somebody thinks that's a good deal, they're going to click buy it now, and then they're just going to pay for it. And you can say, I only accept PayPal. And that is a surefire way to make sure that your information is protected. You get your monies, and then when you get your monies, you ship it out to them. I think it's a very safe way to go. If you take a look at your channel and you're like, oh, it's Jeff, and you know, and Jeff's been with me for, you know, a couple of months, you know, and you decide that you want to trust him, I would still recommend that you go through PayPal. Let him know, hey, I really only accept PayPal. Do you have PayPal? Nope. I think that if you want these, you may want to go ahead and get set up. And then you can always follow up with PayPal to make sure that you are safe and secure and that you can send it that way. Please be very, very careful. I don't want you to get ripped off in any way, and I want you to remain just as safe as you possibly can. So if you have any more questions about that, you know, in the videos I always link my email. Go ahead and email me, and you and I can chat, and I'll help you in any way that I can, kind of get things set up, and you know, we can kind of brainstorm a little bit and make sure that, you know, the choices that you put your mind on are safe and good and of benefit to you. Now, the next one is from JC, and her question was, can you check the stitching where the handles meet the canvas? And we're talking about the Neverfull MM. We both have the Damier Ebene with the rose ballerine interior. And so she is saying that she used her iPhone light, and where the, so she's saying where the stitching and the canvas meet, that she's seeing holes there. And she checked her other, so she has 3 other Neverfulls, and they have the same thing. And she said on the Damier with rose ballerine, it's more noticeable for her. So I did ask that she send me some pictures, and you did, and I'm so grateful for that. So I'm going to be really honest. I did take a look at it. I took a look at your pictures, and it did look like I was struggling to see, you know, where the thread was and the hole begins. But it did seem like you had a little bit of a hole, a larger hole than what I was seeing. So what I'm looking at here, and I had a little light, and so simply, so what I did was I kind of separated this from the canvas a little bit, and I went in to take a look. Now I'm going to show that to everyone, and you can see that there's some thread there that goes into, of course, a hole. So that's basically what happens when you're trying to sew a bag or even a piece of clothing. You know, you have to have the thread that kind of goes in, and when you're punching through canvas, you know, it's very possible, you know, that you're going to, you know, you're going to punch in through that, and you're going to come with, you know, the thread, and it has to be able to loop back around and then back into, you know, this leather itself. And, you know, it's, so what I'm seeing is the basic hole where thread is coming in and then back out to attach to that leather. I don't necessarily see anything that's a larger hole. I mean, it looks within quality standards for me. I don't see a problem with mine at all. And I actually looked at my monogram, and I even looked at the fake one, just the replica, just to be sure. And they do have, I mean, you can tell it's a hole because the thread's got to go in there, but it doesn't look like if you were just holding it and taking a look at your bag, you're not going to go, huh, there's a hole there. And from what the pictures that you showed me, and for you to ask that question, I kind of feel like that's where you're at. When you look at it, you go, is that a hole? And it looks like it's a little more noticeable than mine. So I would say if you're near a boutique, I recommend that you go down and have them take a look at it. I did contact Louis Vuitton and say, have you heard any recalls? Is anything kind of going on? The individual that I got didn't have anything on it. They're not necessarily getting phone calls about it. So I feel like I'm hoping that you have like a one-off kind of issue. I would love to know what happens when you take it in or when you give Vuitton a call. So if you would kind of send me a comment or send me a reply to me in the email so I'll know what's going on, and just to make sure that you are kind of, not that I am Louis Vuitton, but I would love to know that you're happy with your bag. I love it when all gals are happy with their handbags. So just kind of keep me in the know on that, but I definitely recommend that you take that back. The next one is from Hannah Marshall, and her question is, do you think they will be restocking the monogram rose ballerine? Now, Hannah, you and I have had some good conversations about that, and I have had my, let's get them together. I have had my fingers crossed for you. I really wanted you to be happy with that, and I made a phone call for you to Louis Vuitton as well. I think that they're starting to know me on a first name basis. I do call them a lot, but I did get a hold of a lovely gentleman named Philippe, and he did say that they have officially retired that bag, so you cannot find that anymore. So I'm so sorry. It hurt my heart a little bit for you, and I was like, oh, I don't want to have to say that in the video, but I do want to be honest with you and let you know that. So here's what I would say. If you're really set on having the monogram and not the damier, I would recommend that you do go and look at someplace, Fashion File, Tracy, the regulars that you can go to. Or I did go out into eBay and I did some checking, and they are out there. So you could purchase them. They do have some that are new. They do have some that are used. Here's my word of warning for you. I looked at a couple of them and they look good. I looked at a couple more and said, they look like they might not be authentic. So I would recommend being very careful that you have somebody actually authenticate it before you actually make that purchase. Be very discerning, and I think that you should be okay. I do want to say that even though they are new or used, they seem to be going a little bit more than what you would have paid in the Louis Vuitton store. So sometimes that's an ouch, but you know, I have to tell you that there are a couple of Neverfulls that if I could find, I would be willing to pay more than probably you would have found in the store, but they better be in really good shape. So I wish you the best of luck. You know, let me know if you want to look on eBay and you find something and, you know, you kind of need some help giving it the once over to see if it's maybe authentic. I don't officially authenticate, but I am pretty good about spotting a fake. So that's it for our 3 questions today. I hope that they were helpful, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Now, here comes the Tell It part of Tell It Tuesdays. So I have a little bit later today an announcement that I'm going to make for you. Now, I think it's a pretty cool announcement, and I didn't want to wrap it into Tell It Tuesdays, but I didn't want to not warn you about it either. So today on Tell It Tuesday, there's going to be 2 videos that you will see today. Today's, the one that we're watching right now with some questions and some answers, and then one that's later today that has a really cool announcement that I hope you're going to be really excited about. So stay tuned, watch for my channel, watch for an update to come out, and when it comes out, you're going to have to, comment down there and tell me if you are as excited about it as I am, because I am really excited about it. In the meantime, if you liked this particular video, give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any questions that you would like for me to cover. Put them in the comment section down below. Try to keep it in this particular video for this coming week. That will help me kind of stay on track of it, so I don't have to kind of keep scrolling going, oh, is there a question that I've missed? So kind of keep it here if you can, or send me an email. One of those 2 places will help me a lot to keep track of it. If you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. If you don't necessarily care for this one, but you're like, well, her personality is not so bad, but the information wasn't necessarily helpful for me, go ahead and check out some other ones. You might find a match and some information that might be helpful to just you. And that's it for right now. Look for my announcement later. Talk soon. Bye.